I died on my 28th birthday. Not literally, but the moment I walked into my family's estate and saw them celebrating without me, something inside me shattered beyond repair. The chandelier sparkled above a table laden with champagne and cake. My mother's laughter echoed through the marble foyer. My father raised his glass in a toast. My younger sister Natalie sat at the head wearing my grandmother's emerald necklace, the one promised to me. They didn't notice me standing in the doorway. To Natalie, my father announced, pride thick in his voice, for bringing honour to this family. My hands trembled around my worn messenger bag. Inside were 5 years of research notes, climate data, ice core samples, evidence that could change everything we knew about polar ecosystems. I'd spent my birthday in a laboratory because I thought my work mattered. I thought I mattered. Chloe. My mother's voice cut like ice. Not warm, not welcoming, just acknowledgement. You're late. Again. It's my birthday, I said quietly. Natalie laughed. That crystalline sound that charmed everyone. Oh, Chloe, always so self-centered. Can't you see this is important? Father just announced my engagement to James Thornton. James Thornton. The man I'd introduced to my family 6 months ago. The man who'd kissed me last week and promised we'd make our relationship public soon. The room tilted. My chest burned. Congratulations, I heard myself say. James appeared from the dining room, his arms just sliding around Natalie's waist. He looked at me without guilt. Chloe, I hope there are no hard feelings. Natalie and I, when you know. When you know. I'd known him for 2 years, supported his career, believed his lies. My mother waved dismissively. Chloe, dear, go change. You look like you've been digging in dirt. This is a family celebration. I was in a laboratory, I said, doing research that could... Yes, your little hobby. My father didn't look up from his phone. When will you accept a real job? Natalie just secured Vice President of Communications at my company. Perhaps you could apply as her assistant. Something inside me cracked. A hairline fracture across my heart. 10 years pursuing environmental science. Top of my class. Published papers. Won grants. And they called it a hobby. I see, I whispered. That night, I sat in my childhood bedroom, now storage for Natalie's designer clothes, and stared at my research. All those years, all that hope that maybe, if I accomplished enough, they'd be proud. They never would be. Then the memory hit me. This had happened before. Not exactly like this, but close. In another life, or this same life, lived differently. I'd stayed. I'd accepted the humiliation. I'd watched Natalie marry James while they poisoned my reputation. I'd watched myself become invisible. Until I wasn't here at all. Not this time. I opened my laptop and typed Antarctic research stations. You're being dramatic. My mother didn't look up from her coffee. Antarctica? Chloe, that's absurd. I've been accepted to Palmer Research Station. I kept my voice level. 2-year position studying ice sheet dynamics. 2 years? Natalie paused her makeup application. What about my wedding? Being my maid of honour? Find someone else. The words came out colder than I intended. Exactly as cold as I intended. My father finally looked at me. Really looked. This is about James, isn't it? I thought you were more mature. He and Natalie are in love. Accept it and move on. Love. The word tasted like ash. This has nothing to do with James, I lied. This is about my career. I'll be working with Dr. Elizabeth Hartley's team. She's a pioneer in glaciology. That woman, my mother's lips pursed, lives in the middle of nowhere, never married, obsessed with ice. Is that what you want? To end up alone and frozen? Better frozen than suffocated. The silence cut deep. Natalie recovered first, concern perfectly performed. Chloe, sweetie, I think you're depressed. Maybe Dr. Morrison could help before you make a rash decision. I'm not depressed. I'm leaving in 3 weeks. I came to tell you as courtesy, not ask permission. 3 weeks? My mother stood abruptly. This is your home, your family. You can't abandon us for some frozen wasteland. Watch me. I walked out with my spine straight and head high. Behind me, Natalie whispered to James. My father muttered about ungrateful daughters. My mother's heels clicked as she followed. If you do this, she said, voice low and dangerous, don't expect us to be here when you come crawling back. We won't fund your adventure. We won't send packages. You'll be completely alone. I turned to face her. I've always been alone. I just didn't realise it until now. Hurt flashed across her face. Almost made me feel guilty. Almost. You're making a mistake, she said. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. The next 3 weeks blurred in preparation. I sold everything I couldn't take. Car, furniture, designer clothes I'd bought trying to fit their world. I kept only what mattered. Research, books, warmest clothes. James called twice. I didn't answer. He texted, "Can we talk? I never meant to hurt you. You're being childish." I blocked his number. Natalie tried once more, showing up with coffee and croissants and sympathy. "I'm worried about you," she said. "This isn't like you, running away." "I'm not running away. I'm running toward something. Toward ice and isolation." "What are you trying to prove?" "Everything," I thought. "That I'm worth something without you. That I can survive without begging for approval. That I'm more than your shadow." "I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm trying to live." She stood, composure cracking. "You're so selfish. Everything about you and your feelings. What about family? Tradition? We're Hartfords. We have responsibilities. You can't throw that away to play scientist." Play scientist, as if a decade of education was a game. "Get out," I said quietly. "Chloe, get out of my apartment. Go back to your perfect life. I'm done being your supporting character." She left. The door slammed. The silence felt like freedom. The airport was quiet at 5 a.m. I stood with 2 massive duffels and my research case, watching travellers rush toward ordinary destinations. Miami, Paris, Tokyo. I was heading to the end of the earth. My phone buzzed. One last text from my mother. "Last chance to come to your senses." I turned off my phone. The flight to Punta Arenas took 14 hours. I spent it reading about Palmer Station, smallest of 3 US Antarctic facilities. 60 people maximum in summer. 40 in winter. Blue buildings on Anvers Island, surrounded by ice and ocean and sky. Perfect. During the Santiago layover, I saw a gossip website nearby. Hartford heiress flees to Antarctica after sister steals fiancé. Sensational. Mostly wrong. James had never been my fiancé, but the photos were real, me at the airport looking severe, Natalie and James at a gala laughing. They were making me the villain, the jealous sister, the unstable one. I should have felt angry, hurt. Instead, I felt free. Let them spin whatever narrative they wanted. I wouldn't be there to contradict it. In 2 days, I'd be somewhere they couldn't reach me. The final leg was a research vessel crossing Drake Passage, 40-foot waves, wind that could knock you down. I spent most of it in my cabin, nauseous, wondering if this was the universe testing my commitment. When I emerged on deck and saw Antarctica, every doubt evaporated. The ice glowed blue-white in eternal summer sun. Mountains rose like frozen cathedrals. Glaciers carved with thunderous cracks echoing across miles. The air tasted clean, pure, untouched. Beautiful, isn't it? Dr. Elizabeth Hartley stood beside me. Older than her photos, maybe 60, silver hair whipped by wind, eyes sharp as ice. "It's everything," I said. She studied me with the assessing gaze of serious scientists. "Your application was impressive. Research on ice sheet destabilization showed real insight, but I need to know, are you here to do science or hide? The question cut through my defenses. Both, I admitted. Good. She smiled. Honesty is essential. The ice doesn't lie and neither can we. You'll fit in fine, Chloe Hartford. Just Chloe, please. Just Chloe. She nodded. Welcome to the end of the world. Let's see what you're capable of. Palmer Station was smaller than I'd imagined and larger than I'd hoped. 3 blue buildings connected by corridors, labs, living quarters, common areas, 60 people bound by commitment to understanding this frozen continent. Nobody cared that I was a Hartford. Nobody asked about my family. They cared about my research, my ideas, my ability to analyse ice cores and contribute to understanding climate systems. For the first time, I was valued for my mind. Dr. Hartley assigned me to glaciology studying ice sheet collapse. My specialty, ocean temperature and glacial melt patterns, fit perfectly. Within a week, I'd identified an anomaly. This pattern, I said during a team meeting, pointing at my laptop, the melt rate spikes don't correlate with ocean temperatures. Something else is happening. Dr. Hartley leaned forward, eyes gleaming. Show me. I pulled up 3 years of data. See? Every 18 months, melt accelerates without matching weather patterns or currents. Almost like something beneath the ice is warming periodically, she finished. Geothermal activity. You might have found volcanic vents under the West Antarctic ice sheet. The room went silent. If true, another researcher said slowly, collapse projections are wrong. We're dealing with heat from below. It would explain acceleration, I said, heart racing. And if we map geothermal sources, we predict collapse zones with unprecedented accuracy. Dr. Hartley smiled. Chloe, I want you leading the next phase. You've earned it. Lead me. A project reshaping our understanding of Antarctic ice. I thought about my father calling my work a hobby, my mother suggesting I be Natalie's assistant, James dismissing my passion as obsession. They had no idea what I was capable of. 3 months in, my research expanded into full-scale investigation. We deployed sensors across 50 miles, mapping thermal anomalies beneath ice. The data was extraordinary, groundbreaking, career-making. I barely thought about my family. Isolation had become a gift. No obligations, no disappointing anyone. Just work and ice and pure scientific satisfaction. Then the supply ship arrived with mail. I didn't expect anything, but there was a package from Natalie. Inside, a wedding invitation. Gold lettering, my name elegantly inscribed, except crossed out in red pen, with a note in Natalie's perfect script. Since you chose ice over family, I'm inviting someone who cares. James's cousin will be my maid of honour. Mother cried when I told her. Hope you're happy. N. Underneath was a magazine. Society pages. Photos of their engagement party. Natalie radiant, James distinguished, my parents beaming. And a small article, Hartford daughter's mental breakdown. Family sources report Chloe Hartford fled to Antarctica for treatment. Mental breakdown. Treatment. As if Palmer were a psychiatric facility. They were rewriting history, making me unstable, erasing my accomplishments. I should have been furious. Instead, I started laughing. They thought this would hurt me. They thought I still cared about their approval, their narrative, their lies. But I'd tracked thermal plumes beneath 10,000-year-old ice today. I'd contributed to research being published in Nature. I'd found my purpose. Their gossip couldn't touch that. I burned the invitation in the incinerator, watched gold lettering curl and blacken to ash. The magazine followed, and with them, the last remnants of the girl who'd needed their love. I was someone else now. 6 months in, winter set in with darkness lasting 20 hours daily. Station population dropped to 40. Ice groaned and cracked like distant thunder. I found it clarifying. My research evolved into something unprecedented. Geothermal mapping revealed not random volcanic activity, but a pattern. A network of thermal vents beneath the West Antarctic ice sheet, like veins, concentrated in accelerated collapse zones. "This is it," Dr. Hartley said when I showed her final analysis. "The missing variable. Do you understand what you've discovered?" I did. It terrified me. "If this is correct," I said carefully, "current climate models underestimate ice sheet collapse by 30%. The timeline for catastrophic sea level rise isn't centuries, it's decades." 50 years, she confirmed. "Maybe less. This changes everything. Climate policy, coastal development, international agreements. You've proven we have far less time than anyone thought." The weight settled on my shoulders. This wasn't academic anymore. This was the future of coastal cities. Millions who'd need to relocate. Nations that could disappear beneath rising oceans. "We need to publish," I said. "We will. But Chloe," she paused, "this will make you famous. Everywhere. Are you ready?" Famous. Strange word. I'd spent my life invisible, dismissed, overlooked. Now, because of ice and heat and patterns I'd seen first, I'd become impossible to ignore. "I don't care about fame," I said honestly. "I care about the truth." "Good, because when this breaks, everyone will want a piece of you, including your family." My family. I hadn't thought about them in months. They'd become like a dream, vivid but unreal, significant but distant. "They made their choice," I said. I made mine. The paper published in Nature on a Wednesday. Geothermal Influence on West Antarctic Ice Sheet Dynamics. Evidence for Accelerated Collapse Timeline by Dr. Chloe Hartford and Dr. Elizabeth Hartley. By Friday, my name was everywhere. The scientific community erupted. Climate scientists hailed it as breakthrough. Skeptics demanded verification, policymakers panicked, news outlets wanted interviews. My dormant email exploded with thousands of messages. Among them, one from my mother. "Chloe, we need to talk. Call immediately." Mother. I deleted it. Natalie. "Congratulations on your success. I always knew you were capable. We should celebrate when you return. The wedding was beautiful. You were missed." Deleted. But James's I read fully. "I saw your research. Impressive work. I always knew you were brilliant. I'm sorry for how things ended. If you're ever back in civilization, I'd like to explain. You deserve to know the truth about that night." J. The truth about that night. As if some explanation would make his betrayal acceptable. I didn't delete it. I kept it as a reminder of everything I'd left behind and why I'd never go back. Interview requests were relentless. Major networks, international journals, TED Talks. Everyone wanted the story of the scientist who disappeared and emerged with world-changing research. I declined everything except peer-reviewed presentations. Let them be interested in my work, not my biography. But I couldn't control the narrative completely. Someone found old photos, society pages, from heiress to ice scientist, Chloe Hartford's remarkable journey. How family heartbreak led to climate breakthrough. They were making me a story again. Every narrative except the truth. I'd always been a scientist. They'd always been blind. 3 weeks after publication, Dr. Hartley knocked on my door at midnight. "You have a call," she said. "Satellite phone. They said it's urgent. Family emergency." My heart clenched despite everything. "Who?" "Your father." I almost refused, almost said he could leave a message, but something in her expression stopped me. "He said your mother is in the hospital," she said quietly. "Heart attack. She's asking for you." The connection crackled with distance. My father's voice sounded old in a way I'd never heard. "Chloe, thank God. I wasn't sure you'd take the call." "What happened?" "Your mother collapsed 3 days ago, stress-induced. She's stable, but..." His voice broke. "She keeps asking for you. crying, saying she's sorry. I know things haven't been good, but she's your mother. She needs you. Sorry, the word echoed strangely. When did it happen? Tuesday night, right after she saw your interview on news. They showed old family photos and she broke down, started crying about failing you. How she'd been so focused on Natalie she'd never seen what you needed. Then she collapsed. Tuesday, the night I'd given my only interview to BBC. The night I'd spoken about my inspiration and carefully avoided mentioning my family. Doctors say she can't handle stress, my father continued. Her heart is weak. I'm begging, please come home, just for a week. Let her see you. Apologise. After that, if you want to return to Antarctica, I won't stop you. Home. The word felt foreign. I'll think about it, I said. Chloe? I said I'll think about it. Goodbye, father. I hung up. Dr. Hartley found me on the observation deck at 3 a.m, watching southern lights dance across polar sky. Green and purple curtains, silent and eternal. Your mother? She asked, settling beside me with coffee. Heart attack. She's asking for me. And you're conflicted? Not a question. I don't know if I can forgive them, I admitted. They spent my life making me feel worthless. Now, because I've accomplished something they can't ignore, suddenly I matter? It feels like they only want me back because I'm finally valuable. Maybe, Dr. Hartley said, or maybe your success forced them to see what they'd been too blind to notice. People are complex, capable of both tremendous cruelty and genuine growth. You think I should go? I think you should decide what you can live with. If your mother dies while you're here, will you regret it? If you go back and she manipulates you, will you regret that? Only you know which regret is heavier. I watched the lights shift and swirl. In Antarctica, everything was clear. Ice was ice, data was data, truth was truth. But family was the chaos I'd fled. When I was younger, I said slowly, I fantasized about this moment, becoming so successful they'd have to acknowledge me. I imagined them apologizing, begging me to come home, and I'd refuse, make them feel what I felt. And now that it's real, now I just feel tired. I turned to her. I don't want revenge. I don't want their approval. I just want to keep doing my work. Is that terrible? It's human. She smiled sadly. But here's what I've learned. Ice preserves things perfectly, frozen in time. But humans aren't meant to be preserved. We're meant to change, melt, flow. If you stay frozen in anger, you'll end up like these glaciers, beautiful and isolated and eventually breaking apart. Her words stung because they were true. I'll go, I said. For a week. But after that, I'm coming back. This is where I belong. I know, she said gently, and we'll be waiting. The flight back took 36 hours. With each mile, I felt myself shrinking into the person I used to be. The nervous daughter, the disappointing Hartford. But my reflection in the airplane window showed someone different. Leaner. Harder. Skin weathered from wind and sun reflecting off ice. Eyes holding distance from staring at horizons most would never see. I wasn't that girl anymore. I wouldn't pretend to be. The hospital was exactly as I remembered. Sterile and expensive. Marble floors, hushed voices, lilies in every corner. My father met me in the lobby. He looked older, greyer, smaller. Chloe. He moved to embrace me, then stopped, uncertain. Thank you for coming. How is she? Weak. Medications make her tired, but lucid. She knows you're coming. He paused. You look different. I am different. He nodded, accepting this. I owe you an apology. We all do. I didn't understand what you were doing. I thought you were running from failure. I didn't realize you were running towards success. I wasn't running towards success, I corrected. I was running toward myself. Something shifted in his eyes. Respect I'd never seen before. My mother's room was private, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, flowers everywhere. She looked small in the hospital bed, diminished in a way that startled me. "Chloe," her voice cracked. "You came!" I sat in the chair beside her bed, maintaining distance. "Father said you asked for me." "I did. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I saw you on television, talking about your research, so confident, so brilliant, and I realised I don't know you at all. My own daughter, a stranger." "Whose fault is that?" The words came out hard. I didn't take them back. She flinched. "Mine. It's my fault. I was so focused on making Natalie perfect, the one who'd marry well and carry on our legacy, that I never saw what you were becoming, never valued your intelligence, your passion, your strength. You called my research a hobby." "I know, I was wrong. So wrong." She reached for my hand. I let her take it but didn't squeeze back. "When I saw those articles about your discovery, about how your work might save millions, I was proud, so incredibly proud. Then ashamed, because I'd never told you I was proud." The tears were real, but I'd learned in Antarctica that data could be misleading. Truth required analysis, verification, time. "What do you want from me?" I asked quietly. "Forgiveness," she whispered. "A chance to know you, to be the mother I should have been." I looked at this woman who'd given birth but never really seen me, who'd valued appearances over substance. Part of me wanted to forgive immediately, take back the years of hurt. But I'd learned something in Antarctica. Some changes are irreversible. Some ice, once melted, can never reform. "I can't give you that," I said. "Not yet, maybe not ever, but I can give you honesty." She nodded, gripping my hand tighter. "I'm not coming home, not permanently. Antarctica is where my work is, where my life is, where I matter not because of my name but my mind. I'll visit when I can, take your calls, try to build something, but I won't give up what I've found to become your idea of a perfect daughter." "I understand," she said softly. "And Chloe, you already are perfect. I was just too blind to see it." Epilogue, 1 year later. I stood on Palmer Station's observation deck, watching the sunset for the last time before long winter darkness. My second year nearly complete. My research had expanded into multi-year international collaboration. Universities were fighting over where I'd take my postdoctoral position. My phone buzzed. Rare satellite connection. Text from Natalie. "Divorce finalised today. You were right about James. I'm sorry I didn't listen. Can we talk when you're back?" N. I smiled slightly. James had shown his true colours within 6 months. Affairs, manipulation, everything I could have warned her about if she'd asked. But some lessons had to be learned firsthand. Another message from my mother. "Your father and I established the Hartford Environmental Research Fund in your honour. First grants announced next month. We want to support scientists like you. Hope this makes you proud. Love you. Mum." Proud. The word still felt strange from them. But we were trying. Slowly, carefully, building something real from ruins. Dr. Hartley appeared beside me, 2 cups of coffee in hand. Our ritual. "Thinking about staying for a 3rd year?" she asked. "Maybe. There's still so much to learn." "There always is," she smiled. "But you've proven everything you needed. To them. To yourself. What comes next is your choice, not your escape." She was right. I wasn't running anymore. I was exactly where I wanted to be. Below us, the ice glowed in dying light. Ancient, patient, revealing its secrets only to those willing to listen. I'd found my place in this frozen world. Found myself, and finally I was enough.